All right, everyone, I've got some chamomile tea here, so hopefully I don't just fall asleep in the middle of the video. That would be embarrassing. Yet somehow he still edits it and posts it. What? The INFJ, what's the title of this? The INFJ's Fear. Yeah, everyone's afraid of basically all the same stuff. This isn't to say INFJs are specifically afraid of this. But what I see out there is that personality type really does affect the degree to which you get freaked out by stuff. And like two people can have the same fears, but one person will be way more freaked out about one thing and the other person will be way more freaked out about the other thing and relatively okay, even though they're still afraid of the thing that the other person is afraid of. Wow. Things get confusing when you don't use specifics. Or two people can be equally afraid of something, but they just interpret it in different ways, so they're afraid of it for different reasons. You see what I mean? And as many things on the channel, it comes down to that pesky extroverted sensing, the inferior function of the INFJ. And so like many of my videos, this is also entirely applicable to INTJs. However, it is a very inelegant title to say the INFJ and INTJ's fear. You get, it's a limitation of YouTube. Why? Why is it that and how does the SE, the extroverted sensing, being our inferior function, make us afraid of stuff? What does it make us afraid of? What's really going on down there? In some ways, that question itself is almost like what the fear is. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. If, in a nutshell, that's what it is. But keep watching so that I can expostulate upon that point. So a quick rundown, extroverted sensing is actually like the easiest cognitive function to explain. It's just awareness. It's the five senses, the present moment. What is factual? What's happening right now? The physical, concrete world objectively, no interpretation or anything. So that's what we're repressing as INFJs, in favor of the opposite function of that, introverted intuition, which is about, instead of like being wide open, extroverted sensing is wide open. We got to sense everything. What's happening objectively? Everything. Introverted intuition, it's introverted, so it's subjective, so it's really narrow. It's about organizing all the facts. It's like taking in that wide variety of facts and organizing them, and then also putting meaning to them. Like the organizing is sort of like giving them all meaning, seeing what are the patterns behind all the stuff that's going on. So an INFJ is sort of like, I want to collect as few facts as possible, as few data points from the outside world through my SE as possible, and just connect the dots using my NI. That's what I want to put my work in with. That's my workhorse, the introverted intuition. I'm just looking at what's going on underneath. What are the patterns? I'll fill in all the blanks. I don't need to see what's actually going on. If I understand why things are happening, then I don't actually have to understand or know what is happening. Do you see the problem that could arise from this dynamic? That's the root of the fears. It's like, I don't know what's going on. And what happens is your whole life, everyone's life, has this recurring problem that happens because of the push-pull between the dominant and inferior functions. Your inferior function is down there, and you might be like, oh, that's a cool function. I like that. This is great. But actually, you're sort of like, why would I do that? I don't need to do that. Who needs that? Who needs extroverted sensing? I'm doing my introverted intuition. F the SE. You know what I mean? But then, because you're ignoring it so much, all this stuff piles up in that area of your perception. Because those are the perceiving functions. It's how you perceive reality. They're both perceiving reality. It's just that one is the concrete reality, one is abstract reality. So you've basically cut yourself off from half of reality. Not good. Why don't we stop really quick and support this channel with a commercial break. To put it very simply, it's sort of like, I don't know what's going on right in front of me. I don't see the facts. And then stuff happens because of that. You just like ignore stuff that's going wrong. Just like something simple. Your washing machine slowly over time breaks down and then explodes one day. And it's because you just haven't been paying attention. You haven't seen what's been going on. Or maybe you did see it and you're like, I'm not responsible for that. Let me figure out maybe a way where, I can figure out how to work around this. You know, some kind of crazy intuitive way of systematizing my laundry so that I can use the washing machine while it's sort of broken, but it doesn't get too broken, but then it all falls apart in the end. That was a really convoluted example, but I went for it. So that's like a very real thing that could happen, but then you start to like blow it out of proportion with everything. And it's like, what do I not know? What's going on that I don't know behind the scenes? Because my washing machine, I didn't know what was going on with that. So then what's going on with the government? What's going on with the plane I'm flying in? Does it have a fatally stripped jack screw that's going to make the tail fly off? It's happened before. The INFJs are all waiting around for something, some fact, something that we should have seen just coming up and slapping us across the face one day, coming out of frickin' nowhere. This dynamic is also a big thing about introverted intuition, is about keeping things under control, keeping things organized. And extroverted sensing is like not organized at all. It's just wide open, it's randomness. It's without inherent meaning, really. So that's a part of the issue, is we're afraid of the randomness. We're afraid of that explosion of chaos. And I think there's also this thing of when you're so far in on one function, on the introverted intuition, and then something bad happens where stuff does blow up, and you have to deal with the extroverted sensing. It's not good. It's like in a really unhealthy way where it can feel like everything is meaningless. Like you go into the extroverted sensing, I'm experiencing life as it's coming, there's no pattern, it's all randomness, but you don't handle it well. And you just think like, you just become nihilistic. It's devastating in a way. And that's the problem, is like you swing back and forth between introverted intuition, which to me seems like finding meaning in everything, because it's like pulling everything together into one big pattern, and a pattern is essentially meaning. And so then when you're forced to get out of that to its opposite, it's such a jarring thing, and it's extremely unpleasant. Whereas if you had just been doing the extroverted sensing all along, you would find a way to balance the two. But it's really difficult when it's your inferior function to balance it. It's sort of all or nothing. You're either going all in on the introverted intuition, or you're having a swing into the extroverted sensing, and it's not pretty. So all this is to say, your fears about all the random chaos and the meaninglessness and the randomness, and so to me it feels sort of like something's gonna happen one day where I'm just suddenly gonna lose any faith in anything, and I'm just gonna suddenly realize that everything is totally pointless. And you know, I have these moments occasionally where things sort of feel like that, but then I bounce back. But I'm worried there's gonna be a big one. There's gonna be a humunga-dunga one day where I'm just gonna be like, that's it. I'm done. This was nice, but the veil has been stripped back, and now I know this is all totally pointless and stupid. And that's like a big fear, that's gonna happen one day. Yeah. So let me go into this a little bit more personally. You know, I don't like to make videos about current events, because I would like my video to be somewhat relevant, you know, a few months from now. But right now what's going on in the world is a pandemic. It's a pretty big deal. But what bothers me, like what I get most afraid of in this situation isn't like getting sick or even like family members getting sick, although I'm concerned about that, but it's like I feel like statistically we're probably okay. But like what worries me is what's going on behind the scenes with like the government. What are people, how are they working things out together that we don't know about? What's going to happen with that, huh? How are things going to change drastically with all that? Or it's like with the economy, with all the stuff that's shut down, how are things going to change after that? Is life going to be totally different? Who knows? And part of me is an eternal optimist, so I don't get too worked up about it. But when I do worry, I don't always worry, but when I do, those are the things I worry about. And so I just try to tell myself that a lot of it is just this feeling like I need to, like I'm really afraid of the chaos, and I'm really afraid of like what I don't know. And that's the thing that freaks me out the most. And when you're facing anything, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's getting on a plane or, just your day-to-day life, when you're feeling afraid, anxious about these kind of things, and you can identify, oh, it's because I'm afraid of the chaos. I'm afraid of the randomness. I'm afraid of the unknown. The what? Like not the unknown in terms of I don't know why it's happening, but I don't know what. I don't actually know what's happening. And I know I'm missing something. There's something I'm missing, crap. It's not like you can make yourself unafraid, but you can start to realize I'm fanning flames of fear that might be there for anyone, but I'm making them worse because of these specific things that are related to my type, related to my inferior function. And then the way to slowly build yourself up so that you're not so freakishly afraid of these things is to start to get into that extroverted sensing in a healthy way. Like work on that. Work on dialing down all of that. I'm going to see the pattern and the meaning and all that, and open up to what's actually happening in the present moment. What's real? What's actually real? Let's not worry about the patterns and the meanings. Let's worry about what is real and factual in the concrete world. I think that's the best thing an INFJ can do to become, like, overall a less anxious person, a less fearful person, is to work on that kind of thing of just being now, being with all the stuff that's actually happening, and being like, it's okay if I don't have control over it. Like, I can just take things as they come. It's okay if I don't have it all organized. It's okay if I don't know certain things, because I can see it if I just bring myself into the present moment. Well, maybe you can't see everything, but that's okay too, that you can't see everything. Is if you can bring yourself to see more things, then it's not as big of a shock when you miss a few things here and there. So yeah, that's the INFJ Fear. That's what I had to say about that. And I thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are being responsible during this time. And since you're stuck at home probably, check out some videos. You've got a lot of time. And give this video a like if you'd be so kind. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next time, stay cool and attractive.